Hello and welcome to NCIA's weekly episodes of NCIA Today. I'm your host, Bethany Moore, NCIA's Deputy Director of Communications, checking in with you every week on Fridays with updates on what's happening in the industry and here at NCIA. All right, it is the month of April, and I have something for your spring to-do list. Since the Safe Banking Act was reintroduced in both the House and Senate last month, please remember to head to congress.gov and look up the phone numbers for your senators in particular and urge them to support the Safe Banking Act if they aren't already. And by now, you've probably heard a bit about the launch of our new membership packages this year for NCIA members, featuring our newest top tier membership level called Evergreen Membership for those companies looking to make a meaningful investment in shaping policy for the cannabis industry. If you want to receive exclusive access to private briefings from members of Congress, inside information from NCIA's government relations team, and many more opportunities to participate in the national conversation around cannabis policy, then by all means head to thecannabisindustry.org/join to learn more about our new membership packages, Evergreen, Blooming, and Seedling. Next, before I highlight some of the new content on our website, let's check in with an update from our government relations team on the latest.
Hey Morgan, how's it going? Thanks for taking a few minutes to join me this week to catch up on what's happening in DC. But first, have those beautiful cherry blossom trees started to come out yet?
By all reports, I haven't really left my block in a couple of months due to COVID, but they're not the only thing blooming in DC.
Awesome. Well, I am waiting for the rest of the snow to finish melting here in Denver and really looking forward to nicer weather, maybe some hikes. Anyway, let's jump into all the action happening in DC recently, including some surprise moves by the White House Office of Personnel Management. What happened there?
So a couple of weeks ago, the story came out, originally published by the Daily Beast, that the White House staffing coordinators had either transferred, suspended, or requested the resignations of dozens of staff members based on their free admittance of past cannabis use. After getting completely excoriated in the press about this, given the Biden administration's position that people should not be punished for lawful cannabis use, and the fact that possession and limited home cultivation are legal in the District of Columbia, they tried to say that this was because of other issues and not just solely related to cannabis. But even though we don't know the exact nature of all of these individual cases, it really sent the wrong message to not only other federal employers and agencies, but also employers across the country who are starting to grapple with the issues of their own cannabis policies as it relates to behavior that is now legal in a growing number of states. This was also in direct contradiction to an Office of Personnel Management memo that was sent around a couple of weeks prior, stating that cannabis use should not be an automatic disqualifier for federal service. So, it was really surprising and a little bit disconcerting. But at the same time, if we look at it through the right lenses, I think that it's really more indicative, rather than a sign that the Biden administration is walking back its support for more sensible cannabis policies, that there continues to be a stigma associated with cannabis use when it comes to employment, and that even though policy or laws are changing, and even though leadership might be in support of the new paradigm, that there's still institutional inertia, both federally as well as in the private sector, that continues to perpetuate the stigma that cannabis users are not fit for employment, despite the fact that recent studies have shown that cannabis use and broadly cannabis legalization is not associated with any decreases in productivity or increases in workplace injuries.
Absolutely. Well, I guess I won't be applying for that job with the White House anytime soon, but nevertheless, our industry is seeing some positive momentum in states like New York and New Mexico. Tell us more about that.
Well, this has been a really big week in terms of state level cannabis policy reform. This is the first time in my career that I've seen two states' legislatures approve adult use cannabis laws within the same 48-hour period when it wasn't a like a November election day ballot initiative day. So it's really amazing to see how far we've come. Uh, we're still waiting on the governor's signature in New Mexico, and interestingly, Virginia earlier this year also approved an adult use legalization bill that is still waiting on the governor's signature. Once the legislature approves fast tracking the actual legalization of possession and limited home cultivation. So we're looking at 3 state legislatures in the first 3 months of 2021 that have made cannabis legal. This is absolutely huge. And I really think that this is going to increase the momentum in Congress for both incremental changes like the Safe Banking Act, which would provide safe harbor for financial institutions working with cannabis businesses, to more comprehensive legislation that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, also from New York, as well as Senator Ron Wyden and Senator Cory Booker, representing New Jersey, another recent addition to the slate of legalization states, are going to be dropping in the next couple of weeks. So I think the momentum is really growing, and the wind is at our backs right now. So we have to make sure that we keep up our efforts and make sure that we do this right.
Yeah, not too bad for the first 3 months of 2021, for sure. So,
Right.
I mean, in the meantime, the Safe Banking Act is sitting in both the House and the Senate. What can NCIA members be doing right now to help that specifically along?
Well, right away, contact your lawmakers and tell them to support this legislation. I mean, in the House, I think that there's like over 110 co-sponsors, and also the Safe Banking Act was the first cannabis policy reform bill to ever be brought to a floor vote in the House, and the first one to pass. And it was also approved twice more in COVID relief packages that did not end up getting approved by the Senate. But so the House is really in a good position. The Senate is a little bit trickier. So it's really incumbent upon people that work in the cannabis industry to contact their senators and make sure that they are voting the right way on this bill when it eventually comes up for a vote. But it's also important to realize that safe banking is an incremental measure, and NCIA is continuing to work on much more comprehensive measures while the safe banking debate is going on. But in order to pass the Senate, there needs to be significant Republican support, and traditionally, Republicans have shown that they're much more willing to support incremental changes than comprehensive changes like descheduling, such as the MORE Act. But that doesn't mean that incremental changes take the wind out of the sails of more comprehensive measures. If anything, every single time Congress passes a cannabis-related bill, it makes it that much easier for lawmakers to approve and support the next one in more expansive terms.
Absolutely. I mean, don't they say things move at a glacial pace in DC as compared to at the state level? So incremental changes are a great sign. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, policymakers have been really behind public opinion on this issue too. So, while a majority of Americans support legalization and adult use regulation, a lot of lawmakers aren't quite there yet. So you have to meet them where they are and get them to wrap their brains around something that's a little bit smaller that will not only benefit public safety and transparency, but will also help small businesses be able to compete on a level playing field with larger operators for whom access to banking and access to capital are really just a line item or an afterthought.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thanks for that kind of behind the curtains insight there for our viewers. Well, there's a lot going on, and we look forward to seeing all the progress that is happening already, all the momentum continuing to move. And as always, thanks to you and the rest of the DC team for staying on top of everything for our members.
Thank you very much. I mean, it's an ongoing struggle, but we couldn't do it without the support of our members.
Perfect. Well, we'll talk to you and the rest of the team next week. Have a good one, Morgan.
You too.
Hey.
All right, and here's a fun